Give an update on Sean to start with. How's he tracking?
He's fine. So he'll be playing tomorrow. It was just an external blow, actually. It wasn't on the bone or anything. It was in the muscle, and that was the problem. Because he didn't even feel any pain overnight, but the next day he could hardly make a fist. So.
Does that give you a bit of a selection tricky one, given that Wesley made runs coming in at 3?
It does and it doesn't really, because having seen the way the pitch is played, we went in with 4 seamers and one of our seamers only bowled 1 over. Sean is also one of our spinners, so we were thinking about an extra spinner for this game anyway, so it actually just will probably work out that way.
And Blessing, how's he tracking?
Look, Blessing realistically won't play on this tour, but the fact that he's here with us and training with us and under the guidance of our SLC and our physios, whereas if we'd left him at home there probably wasn't enough people to really look after him, and my biggest priority with him was to get him here for the World Cup.
What's just in terms of the batting, you were 160 for 40 overs there, which was Steve Smith was saying how tricky the conditions were just when we spoke to him earlier today. What is the biggest challenge for a team like Zimbabwe, with the short preparation and just coming to Australia? What's the biggest adjustment these guys have to make?
Well, the biggest adjustment is the pace and bounce of the wickets, because they don't bounce like us at home. We've just come away from playing India, and they probably had 1 guy who bowled that pace. We've come here and 3 of the 4 bowl that pace, and Josh Hazelwood's only just below it and gets a bounce because of his height anyway. So it's a pace and bounce that's causing us the problem. So what we talked about at the end of the game is how do we get that last bit of our innings actually organised a bit better. We lost 6 wickets for 15 or something. We were all trying to take it on, but we just weren't quite good at it. So is there another way around it? Can we ramp it a bit maybe if we don't hook? Can we back away and cut it a little bit? These are all things for them to solve the problem themselves, but we need to play the back end better, which is for us a new situation, because the games that we won against Bangladesh and where we did compete well with India, we got all the runs in the middle and the back and nothing up front. So hopefully we'll put both ends together at one stage in this tour.
Have you spoken to Gary Balance about a return to Zim?
Gary's is distantly related to me. It's actually my wife. My wife and Gary's father are cousins. So I've known Gary since he was a kid, and I speak to him reasonably regularly. I don't think Gary would be against coming back to play for Zim, but he's still got to sort out things in England first. He's on a contract there with Yorkshire. I think he's probably got another 8 or 9 good years in him, so if he wants to come back, we certainly wouldn't turn him away.
And what about the other Zimbabweans in county cricket? Nick Welch, Eddie Byram, you guys sort of performing pretty well.
I think it's been made quite clear to everybody really that if you want to come back and play for Zimbabwe, you're welcome to, but I don't think it's a case of us running around and throwing out contracts at guys we haven't seen play for 4 or 5 years. Anybody who wants to come back and play, you're welcome to join our domestic competition. If you play well enough, you get selected. If you play well once you're selected, you get contracted.
You had the 3-0 win in ODIs over Bangladesh. You pushed India hard in that last game and had moments in the first game here. How close do you think this team are to taking a game off the leading ODI, like in India, like in Australia? I know England on your schedule in the near future, but those sorts of teams, how close do you think you are?
Look, the skill gap between the sides is huge. Between us and India, us and England, us and Australia, the skill gaps, there's no hiding from that. Your batters are better than us, they're more experienced than us, your bowlers are taller and faster than us. What we can do is we can field competitively with you guys, which I wasn't happy the other day because I thought we were still lethargic and not very jet lagged. We're better than that. For us to actually compete with these sides and try and get a win against them, as we've done over the years with our sort of giant killing sides, you have to be, every part of your game has to be right on song from the beginning. And normally, if we put a score on the board and we bowl and field incredibly well, we can put enough pressure on sides that if they're not quite on their game, we can beat them. That is how I see us when we're playing the top sides in the world. What we're trying to do, and certainly what I'm trying to do with this team, is try and get us back up the ladder a little bit. We've slipped down to number 14 or 15. We need to be around about the 8, 9, 10 where we can comfortably compete with some of the sides in that region.
And do you have the squad, in your opinion, to do that as well?
At the moment we're not probably as big a squad as I'd like us, but don't forget, we've got 4 or 5 injuries at the moment, which does make a difference to us because we're a small squad, and they're 4 or 5 players. They're not like in the periphery. So we're missing some big players in our team, and if we get them back, obviously that would make us a bit stronger. This is not just a program about our national team. We have to build up our domestic cricket and our franchise cricket so that we are producing more quality players on a regular basis.
You mentioned it with Blessing about with an eye on the World Cup. How much of this week here in Townsville is a bit of, I know you're not playing here in the World Cup, but a bit of information gathering for that tournament? Is it going to be relevant when you get to Hobart?
I think it'll be relevant in terms of what we're doing. I'm trying to find a batting lineup that's going to be, I was quoted after the first couple of games, we're going to play fearless cricket and all this. Well, yes, we want to play fearless cricket. We want to play where guys are actually going out there and expressing themselves and their abilities. I've seen these guys play franchise cricket, and I've seen what they can do and the expressions that they can do. Then I've seen them play international cricket, particularly against very strong sides, and freeze a little bit. Somehow I'm trying to take away that freezing, So this tour is about that. It's about, for me, to watch our two youngsters go out there and play against Stark and Hazelwood and get us 40 off the first 10 overs without losing a wicket. That was a big plus for us. Now you can sit down in a team meeting and see, and you turn around and say, yes, it was a little different and a little bit scary going out there at first against these guys, but look what you achieved. Now what can we do the next game? What can we do the game after? So it's building blocks all the time. Tours like this for us don't happen that often for us, and so when you get the opportunity, it's a real learn for us too.
You spoke about franchise cricket. Where would you say the Logan Cup compares to? You spent a lot of time in county cricket. Would it be equivalent of second 11 cricket or high quality club cricket? Where does it sit?
I would say somewhere between second 11 cricket and first 11 cricket, especially alongside the franchise thing. We're also trying to put together an overseas program that works with it. So if we can get 2 overseas players at the moment from England counties, and we're pretty close to achieving that with all the franchises. When you put 2 in each side, then suddenly the standard goes up a notch again. So, but I would think our good franchise side certainly somewhere between second 11 and first 11. It can always be better.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thanks,
Fantastic,
Dave.
David.
Thanks, Dave.